Welcome back, Black and Yellow, yours truly, Marv, my man Wallace, back in the building. Listen, we got a great video for you guys today, but before we jump into today's video, comment below in the comment section. Let us know exactly what videos you guys want us to make as far as real estate investing is concerned, as far as just business is concerned, as far as self-development, self-help is concerned, because Wallace and I, we're making these videos for you guys. You know, we're not making these videos for us. So whatever you guys are interested in, or if you found something helpful in today's video, because I'm sure today's video is going to be a great gem for you guys. So before we get into today's video, Wallace, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so you know, over the last 12, 13 years, I come to realize it doesn't matter, you know, what industry, you know, what business entrepreneurs are in. I think the biggest challenge with all entrepreneurs I personally spoke with is, number one, is always the capital. Capital has been the biggest issue for all entrepreneurs worldwide, I guess. And then number two is marketing, meaning lead generation, because it doesn't matter what business you're in. If you can have effective marketing strategy, then there's no way your business is gonna double, triple. It might even go down. So these are the things we really addressed and overcome ever since we started this business, where in our business we have unlimited capital and we have the greatest marketing strategies to get unlimited amount of leads. When you have these two things, I think any business will take off, any business will succeed. Without further ado, just make sure if you found the video valuable, make sure you share with the people you care about. Obviously, let's get straight to it. So today, the first thing I like to talk about is people always think that it might take, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to make a big chunk, let's say 6 digits in business or in our industry, which is real estate. But I want to remind you about the one time, I don't know if you spent a few seconds or a few minutes and you just put extra $50,000 in our pocket. And let's bring that all the way back when you were when you was a rookie, probably like your first, second year in the business. Do you remember the property located in Newcastle? It's 14 Richard Road. Remember that property?
Yeah.
And remember when you brought the deal over, I was like semi 50-50, meaning like half of me wanted to buy the property and then the other half of me don't want us to do it.
Right.
Because the problem was the price was just at the point I just didn't know what to do, because it was like 105,000. Right. I wanted to be like maybe 80 or 90,000 to move forward.
Right.
So if you recall, what exactly happened?
So yeah, this is wild, man. I'm glad you brought this up. So this is wild. I feel like I know Kanye West is really big in the news right now. But I feel like I gotta get on my Kanye real shit. Let me talk my shit again. Because I look back, the fact that you brought this up, I look back and I think about some of the shit I did early on in the business. Most people never would do this in the business early on. They wouldn't have the heart, they wouldn't have the balls, because some of the stuff that Wallace and I have done over the years of business, it really takes a lot of balls, a lot of heart to do some of the stuff we do. And I promise you, this video alone, we should sell this shit for 50 grand minimum. 50, just this video. What I'm getting ready to say, what me and Wallace are going to talk about in this video alone, we should sell this shit for 50 grand, because you can literally make 50 grand, if not more, doing what I'm about to tell you in this video. Early on in the business, I dealt with a lot of the sellers. I went on a lot of seller meetings. I talked to them on the phone, pre-screened them, got a lot of sellers in the contract. And that's what a lot of people don't know about myself in this business. And I was really the guy that took care of a lot of the front end stuff. Back end stuff too, but I was really good. And I don't know how you feel, Wallace. I would say, and you can let me know how you feel, honestly, I would say out of everybody we've ever worked with, I might be the best person that has the highest closing ratio when it comes to meeting and talking to sellers and going on seller meetings than anybody we might have ever worked with. But you can let me know if that's true or not real quick.
Yeah, so how I feel about you is I feel like you are a scoring type of person on the basketball team, meaning you're somebody always like drop the most amount of points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to say that to say, you know, I'm useless. You know what I mean? No. I say that to say, you know, when a team needs a rainmaker, needs somebody to go out, drop 30, 40, 50 points, every night, you're the guy. You know what I mean? Because I can't say you close 100%
No,
of
no,
all our deals,
never.
but you probably close like 98, 99% of all our deals, because there was one or two deals I did it myself, right? But I say that to say, I really think it in our business, it doesn't matter. He can replace me.
Right.
That's
right,
what
right.
I'm trying to say. You can do what I do.
Right.
And
right.
that's the reason why, a lot of times, I'm not saying, I'm lazy, but I can just sit back, relax like this. And then, once Marvin bring the deal, all I gotta do is to finish the second half, which is the money. And money is my biggest strength. I can raise unlimited amount of money, whether it's 1 million, 10 million, 20 million. I can raise that real quick.
Right.
So that address, all of the issues in the, real estate investing business and even other business. Sorry, I didn't mean to go too far off of the conversation. Yeah, so that property and many other properties, you were the rainmaker. You went out, met with the seller. You negotiated the price. You signed the contract. You did all that.
That's just the way we had it structured. I pretty much take care of a lot of the front end stuff, and then Wallace would always take care of the back end of the stuff. But to go into the deal, all right, listen to these numbers, guys. Wallace just said 100,000, around 100,000, because I don't remember, because this was back in like 2015, maybe
105, 100.
Yeah,
I wasn't really
the seller. So and this what I'm about to say, guys, this is exactly the reason I don't like following scripts, and I never have followed scripts really in my career, and neither has Wallace. And this is exactly what elevates us and takes us to the next level in dealing and talking to sellers, because this takes a lot of common sense and, like I said, a lot of balls. So what happened was with this deal, the seller wanted right around 100,000, 105,000 for the house. So okay, let me take you back even before that. So we did our marketing channels. This seller, I believe, called off of a bandit sign that was over by the airport where this property is located. I answered the call, talked to the seller on the phone. She was telling me about the property, telling me about her situation, which I'm not going to go into detail with because I don't want to make this video long. But bottom line is she wanted to move down south. Her and her husband, they wanted to move down south. They had another property down south, I believe. So they were paying 2 mortgages or whatever. So boom, I stored that in my brain up here when she told me that. So when I asked her, because as you guys know that follow real estate investing, you got to find out the information, fill out the seller lead sheet. As she asked me that question, I'm filling out the lead sheet, and she told me what she wanted, which was around, like Wallace said, 100, 105,000, something like that roughly. And so I said, okay, let me give you a call back and let me do my due diligence on the property. So I hung up the phone, did my due diligence, ran comps for this property, and I noticed that this property could go for around 150 at the time. I think that was the right number, like right around 150. So I knew off the top of my head, this isn't going to work because the numbers don't work. Because obviously if you buy it at 100,000, and then you put another 30 or whatever it is, I don't remember what was put into it. But then if you put that into it, there's going to be no room for profit once you talk about paying a realtor commission.
Real slim.
Yeah, real slim. Once you pay realtor commission, the closing costs for the attorney, God knows how long the house is going to sit on the market, because those types of things you can't control. So I did my due diligence. And when I called her back, let me backtrack a little bit. So on this particular house, I asked her, because when you talk to a seller, one of the things you find out is how much they owe on the mortgage. This lady owed around 50,000 on her mortgage. I don't remember what the exact amount was. So me knowing that, again, I stored that to my memory, knowing she owes 50,000 still, knowing she wants 100,000 for the property, knowing that it could sell for 150. Now you guys got to remember this, because I'm going to bring this all full circle. Okay, so I did my due diligence, which took a couple minutes. I literally called this lady back, and this is the power of not using scripts, because when you're negotiating with a seller, what most real estate gurus, what they say is, one of the questions when it comes down to negotiating with a seller and finding out how much they want, one of the questions is, what's the least amount you're willing to accept for the property? Now, if I had said that script to this lady, what's the least amount you're willing to accept on a property, I guaranteed she might have said something like around, first of all, she might not even give me a number, because some sellers are difficult to deal with. They don't even give you a number. They say, oh, you make the offer. You tell me. But most likely, me talking to as many sellers as I talked to over these past years, she probably would have said something like, oh, well, or her husband would have said, oh, we're willing to take maybe 90, maybe 85, maybe, they would have said some shit like that. But me, I call bullshit. I call bluff, because in this business, you need a lot of street smarts, you need a lot of common sense, because this shit will get you further than any script will. So I never used the script. I mean, when she told me she wanted 105,000, like I said, I did my due diligence, called her back. And you know what I did? I didn't hit her with, ma'am, what's the least amount you're willing to accept? So this is how I said it roughly, because I don't remember, because this This is almost 10 years ago.
2012?
No, 2000. No, I don't think it was that far back. Maybe 2014, 2015. So I hit her with, I didn't hit her with what's the least amount you're willing to accept. I called her back and I said, excuse me, ma'am. I said, so I was able to do my due diligence on the property. And I said, based on the numbers that you are looking to get, I said, there's no way we can buy this house with cash and settle in 30 days. So there's no way, because we need to take on all the risks. We need to do all the repairs, et cetera, et cetera. And there's no room for enough profit. It's not going to be feasible for my partner and I. I said, however, if you are willing to allow us to buy your house for your mortgage amount, I said, then I think we can make something happen and pull the trigger today. And you know what she said? She literally said, okay, I think that's fine with me. Yo, when she said that shit, I was on the phone, like my heart rate sped the fuck up. I was on the phone like, $50,000 worth of equity, worth of profit, worth of spread, I put in my pocket in seconds, literally, because this phone call was literally seconds. It wasn't like no 5-minute phone call. This phone call literally happened in about maybe a minute, you know what I mean, 2 minutes, because I had already talked to her on the phone prior to that. So when I called her back, it was just to discuss the number. Yo, when she said, I think that's fine, yo, my heart dropped and I realized like, oh shit, I'm getting ready to make a lot of money in this business. You know what I mean? And guys, this was only after my, like he said, first, second year or so in the business. You know what I mean? That I was able to do this and create $50,000 literally in seconds. But again, I want you guys to think about if I would have used the script, what's the least amount you're willing to accept? She probably would have been like, oh yeah, 80, 90. And then Wallace and I might have been like, yo, this is a dead deal. At the time, Wallace and I might have been like, oh, this is a dead deal. We can't do anything with it. Or she would have went on to somebody else. Or it's just different things that could have happened. We might have lost out on the deal. But the fact that I knew what her bottom line has to be her mortgage amount. You can't go lower than the mortgage amount because then it turns into a short sale. I knew that number, so I went straight to that number. Now, in order to do that, you got to get rid of the fear. You guys got to have balls the size of my head and Wallace's head in order to do deals like that, because most investors, most wholesalers, whatever, they would never have the heart, the courage to close a deal like that. They would never have the heart to say that type of stuff to the seller. And this is nothing. Like I say these things, but some of the stuff that I know that he's done with people and the type of money, it's like, wow. And so I took things that he's applied and I applied it to my own life. But like I said, in order to close big deals, but like I said, in order to do that, most wholesalers are afraid to do that kind of stuff because they don't want to piss the seller off. They're afraid to piss the seller off. They're scared to lose the deal. It takes a lot of heart and a lot of balls to tell a seller, yo, I know you want 100,000, but will you take 50? Most people would never have the heart to do that, but I did. Why? Because I had the balls, I had the street smarts, I had the courage, the heart to do all of that. So I'm glad you brought this up, Wallace, because this is a great example. And I was new at the time, but I was able to read the situation and dissect it. And look, $50,000 more I put in our pockets than we would have probably originally got with the deal. So I want you guys to understand something. In order to do that type of stuff, have no fear. Listen, if you got, the only thing I can say to you is just do it. Everybody knows Nikes. Yeah. If you got Nikes, I want you to put your Nikes on. I want you to put your Kevin Durant's on. I want you to put your Kyrie Irving's on, your Kobe's on, your LeBron's on, your Jordan's on. I want you to put that shit on and just do it. Just do it. So I don't know what you want to add to that.
Yeah,
Wallace.
so I was looking up on my phone. So as you can see, we don't just to talk about the properties, the values, all that, because we are not the gurus, selling courses here. We're here to let you know, as you can see, this property was last sold for actually 200,000 instead of 150. And the property value now, according to this Redfin website, is 274,000. So when you pay 50 grand on a property that's worth 275,000, how you ever gonna go wrong? And that's why my style is when I buy houses, I'm not like other people or gurus. I never really go look at a house. When I sell the house, I never really go look at the house. So from the moment we buy the house until we sell the house, I don't even see the house. The only thing I see is the pictures when my realtor lists them. So I do pretty much all my real estate deals virtually. You know what I mean? All I care about, our focus is, the money comes into our account. That's the thing we should focus on. And believe it or not, with pretty much all real estate deals nowadays, I just don't know, and nor do I understand why people still go physically look at this house, that house, look at a couple hundred houses before they got one deal in the contract, and then they look at houses again after they sell the house. There's no need. Real estate nowadays, it should be done like stocks. You're trading on your phone. That's how we do real estate, virtually. And another thing here, the biggest takeaway I got from Marvin today is, in business, in real estate, you don't make 50,000, 100,000, by giving 40 hours a week of your time, month after month, for a year, 2 years, 3 years. In real estate, $50,000, in my knowledge, is really, you should make that in a couple minutes, maybe in seconds. You know what I mean? This is not an industry where you have to go out, kill yourself, month after month, putting overtime just to get that $50,000 check, $100,000 check. In our industry, it's one transaction, couple minutes of your time, but only if you know what you're doing. Knowledge is king. Okay, knowledge is king. I say that again. Okay, and then on top of that, like Marvin said, the thing, one of my mentor, Dan Panion, taught me is just fucking do it. Right? If you're not taking action, you're not doing it, how are you ever gonna learn? Right?
That's it.
Yep.
That's all you got?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to get straight to the point. I like, freestyle. Anytime we have a conversation, I don't want to prepare, to talk about this and that. I just want to go straight into it. As you know, our time is extremely valuable, especially with the industry we're in. So no time to play games.
You heard it from the one and only. Just do it.
Yep.
Just do it. Just do it.